1, 2, 3. Here comes the sun, a new day is dawning, and I am here longing for you under the daytime moon. Fond memories fill every daydream, intoxicating my view under the daytime moon. Dreamy eyes, sleepy sighs, remnants of our rendezvous. Through the night, holding tight, but daylight came too soon. Walking the town, full of sensations, and my fascinations in bloom under the daytime moon. Dreamy eyes, sleepy sighs, remnants of our rendezvous. Through the night, holding tight, but daylight came too soon. Walking the town, full of sensations, and my fascinations in bloom under the daytime moon. Under the daytime moon.
Hi, I'm Victoria Vox with Ukulele Magazine. In this video, I will teach you a chord progression, a strumming pattern, and some strumming techniques to play along to a tune that I wrote with MacGill called Daytime Moon. Now, this song is in B flat, which may not be your favorite key or chord to play, but trust me, we'll get through this just fine. Just hang in there with me. If I can play it, you can play it. So B flat is 3, 2, 1, 1. Now you can use a partial bar with your first finger for that 1, 1. Now I personally like to play a full barred B flat chord, so I'm going to use my entire first finger and place a bar at that first fret, and then basically play an A major shape on top of that bar, pretending that my bar is kind of like the nut. So how would I play A major with the bar? One thing, bar chords to just keep in mind, so when you're playing normal chords, your thumb might be just kind of gently resting up on top. For bar chords, the thumb is going to drop down, halfway down the back of the neck. So you're kind of creating this little clothespin capo pincher with your thumb and finger. So I'm going to drop my thumb down, bar at the first fret, and then play an A major shape on top. In keeping with this first bar, full fret, it will come in handy later on in the song when we have some more movement all with the first fret bar. So your pick, these are all just suggestions. So you have a B flat chord, and then we move to an F minor 6 chord. Now all this is just playing an F minor, but we're going to add the 6, which in this case is a D. So we have our C string, second fret is a D. So we're going to use our third finger, which is free. So just a 4-finger chord, 1, 2, 1, 3. And that'll be 2 strums, and then we go into an F diminished. So then all we do from going an F minor 6 to an F diminished, we just take the pinky and and just pull it back 1 fret. So we go from a C to a B. There. Now the cool thing about diminished chords is you can basically, depending on the context, but you can then call it any note of the finger that you're playing. So in this case, I could call this G sharp diminished, I could call it D diminished, F diminished, or B diminished. And so this will come in handy also later on. Now, so we go from that F diminished chord, we're going to make this our root, the F here, F diminished, starting to move our way up the neck. So now we're going to go to the 3rd fret with just a bar straight across, 3, 3, 3, 3. Now this, one way to call this chord would be an E flat 6 chord, in the same way that this is C6, D6, and up 1 fret, E flat 6 or D sharp 6. So E flat 6. And so it's just a 3rd fret bar all the way across, nothing fancy. And so we have, so after this E flat 6 chord, we're going to go to an E flat minor 6. And so now we are going to be up at our 5th fret. So you just kind of go from here, take your first finger, let it lead the way to the 5th fret. And then these fingers that are kind of following along your middle ring and pinky, they're going to land in a row at the 6th fret. So you've got 5, 6, 6, 6. So you're coming from your 3rd fret to that E flat minor 6 chord. Now we end up at our 5th fret B flat chord. So from this shape, you want to kind of rotate your hand. So see how my hand's kind of out this way. When I go to my B flat chord, my palm is going to kind of rotate underneath my fingers versus out to the side. And so here we are playing a 5th fret full bar chord with an F shape on top. So you're going from 5, 6, 6, 6 to that 5th fret full bar with the F shape. So it's 7, 5, 6, 5. So that is the same chord as B flat from the 1st fret, A shape, to 5th fret, F shape. So after this B flat chord, we are going to move to a B diminished, which if you remember when I said down here was F diminished, but also B diminished. Diminished chords repeat every 3 bars, bars as in frets. So every 3 frets, that diminished chord just changes inversion. So if this is a B diminished, at the 4th fret would also be a B diminished. So we're going to come out of that B flat major chord, 5th fret, working our way back down to the 1st fret B flat, but on our way we're going to stop at the 4th fret diminished shape for our B diminished. And then we're going to keep going down to the 3rd fret straight across bar. You might say, hey, that looks like that E flat 6 chord. Could be. On the way up, on the way down, we're going to call it C minor 7. In the same way that C6 is also A minor 7. So here we have a D6, B minor 7, and here we have E flat 6, C minor 7. So here we have our C minor 7. We're going to keep going to an F7. Now I'm going to play a full F7 shape with the C note on top. When you play F, and if you just do a partial F7 with the money note is your E flat. So you've got your do, te. That 3rd finger on that E flat is really what makes that F7 sound like an F7. However, when we play that E flat there, we lose our C note. So we're going to add it on the top instead. So here's our F7, and then we land back at home at our B flat chord, 1st fret. So everything is just basically 4 beats per chord. The only faster changing chord, not in tempo, but just that there's 2 chords in the measure, is going from that F minor 6 to that F diminished. And so you'll get 2 strums on each one. So let's just take it with a simple 4 strums, 3, 4 per change, except the 2 strums at the 2nd measure. So 1, 2, B flat 1st fret to F minor 6 to F diminished to E flat 6, 3, 4, chord, E flat minor 6, to B flat 5th fret, F shape, B diminished shaped 4th fret, C minor 7, 3rd fret bar, and F7. And then we end on B flat again. And it's just a nice little progression, slowly moving up the neck, working our way up to the 5th fret, to eventually land on our B flat home chord, just in a different inversion. Now we walk it back down, 3rd fret bar, and then F7, full chord, and back to B flat. Okay, so now this song is a jazz type song with an A-A-B-A structure. The A is a verse, then you do another verse, an A, and then you go to a B section with just a little something different, and then back to an A again. So, and in this A, at the end of each A section, we have a refrain, which would be the title of the song, Daytime Moon. So let's go to the B section. Now this looks a little more complicated, but again, it is a pattern of chord changes. Sometimes it might have the same name, it might have different fingering, or same fingering of another chord. But we're going to start out with the A, so we go straight from that B flat to an A flat 9 chord. Now, so we're basically, the way I think of it is it's a D minor chord, but up 1 fret, and then we're going to play a C chord on the C shape on top. So we have a C note, and then this D minor shape. It's kind of like a D minor 7, except these 3 fingers are closer to the 3rd fret here. So it's 3, 3, 2, 3. And we're going to have this little nice walking line down through these next changes. So we have A flat 9. We're going to do that 4 times. Then we go to a D flat 7 flat 9, which is going to look just like our F diminished and B diminished chords. Technically, it's kind of like a D diminished, but we're calling it a D flat 7 flat 9 in this case. And then we go to a G flat major 7. Now, if you play a G chord, you might know G major 7 on your way to G7. So this is our G major 7, but we need to be playing G flat major 7. So obviously we have an open G string and we can't go any further down to a G flat. So instead, another note is a B flat, which is within reach here. So we're playing a G major 7 shape. We're going to take that B flat and add it on our G string. Now it also happens to look just like a B flat minor chord. So, but in this case, it will be G flat major 7. And after here, we go to an E flat minor 7, which basically we just leave our 1st fret bar the whole time with our 3rd finger, and all we do is place our middle finger on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. So it's kind of like an F sharp or G flat chord, but in this case, we're calling it E flat minor 7. So let's just go through those first 4 again. We have the A flat 9 to the D flat 7 flat 9, looks like a diminished chord, to our G flat major 7, looks like B flat minor, and then we place our middle finger down for that E flat minor 7. Now you can think of it as the E flat chord, E flat major 7, E flat minor major 7 to E flat minor 7, da da da. So it really depends on context sometimes with what you call the chord and how you play it. Where some people could say, well, this is G flat or F sharp major. Yes, and so it just kind of depends in the context. So we're going to call this E flat minor 7 the first time. Now we'll continue with the progression. Now we go back to an A flat 9 chord, except we are not going to play it the way we did the first time. We're actually going to play it this way, which is 1, 3, 2, 1. Now this part of the progression, it's going to be really helpful to leave that 1st finger bar down the whole time. So we've got your A flat 9 here, and then we're going to go to the D flat 7. It's actually a D flat 13 flat 9, which looks a lot like a B flat 7, but in this case the bass is playing D flat, so it's really important to call it D flat. And then we're going to go back to that G flat chord, and we skip right ahead to that F shape at the first fret bar. And so we do that once. Now we start off the second time exactly the same pattern. We've got the A flat 9 to the D flat 7 flat 9 to the G flat major 7 to the E minor 7. And then here we're going to cut to a C sus chord. Now you can play C sus, just a C chord with a C, D, E, F is the 4. So you could add an F to get a sus, C sus that way. Except we're going to do it up here on the 3rd fret. So it's going to be 5, 5, 3, 3 for your C sus. Again, I'm going to use a whole bar. I like to buddy up my middle finger sometimes on my bar chords, give it a little more oomph and strength. Otherwise you could also do a bit of a partial bar with your first finger. Can flip people off. So I just like to keep it safe and keep that middle finger buddied up with my first finger. So there's C sus, and then we end up on an F7 flat 9, which is going to look just like a C diminished, F sharp diminished, E flat diminished, or a diminished chord. So it's kind of it's like a diminished chord, but we're going to be calling it's an F7. But we've got that F sharp in there, so that's the flat 9. And you could resolve it if you like, if that feels a little bit too dissonant for it. You could resolve it to the F, just the F7, if you don't want to hang out there. I like to hang out there. It's all personal preference. So let's just go through that bridge one more time. Here we have our A flat 9 to our D flat 7 flat 9. It's like a diminished chord. To our G flat major 7 to our E minor 7 to A flat 9 again, new shape, to D flat 13 flat 9 to our G flat. Again, A flat 9 to D flat 7, G flat major 7, and here we go to the C sus chord. Resolve if you want to, but I like to keep it here. I'm singing the F note against this chord. Lovely. And then we're back to an A section, B flat. Do you remember it? F minor 6 passes through to F diminished, E flat 6, T flat minor 6, 5, 6, 6, 6 to B flat, 5th fret, F shape, 4th fret, diminished shape, 3rd fret, straight across to a full F7 with a C on top, back to B flat. And that is basically the chord progression. Now, if we look at this strumming pattern that I'm going to do, of course you could just do a simple jazz strum on the beat. Now if you do something like that, I would highly suggest some left hand muting. So you'll notice that my hand is kind of pulsing, and it really is easier to do that when you are playing all 4 strings. So all you do is just kind of lightly lift up. You don't want to totally remove your finger from the strings, but you just want to like kind of squeeze it when you want the notes. Same with that F7, you're playing all 4 strings. Basically the whole time you're always playing all 4, so you just kind of give a little pulse at every chord. You can even slide up like I did there, it's kind of nice. To B flat, pulse, 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 3rd fret, pulsing, and F7 pulse. Now you might notice on those, when I'm playing like just a 1 finger bar and I'm pulsing, you might think that that these fingers are doing something because they fall down on the fret. You might see people, do like a left hand muting when they're playing a C chord, and they actually need to use that finger to stop the strings from ringing. In this case, it's really just a matter of habit, that it's every time you're pulsing, you're squeezing and then you rest. So you're playing the chord and then you rest. And so I'm really just fully relaxing in between every strum. And I'm just letting it ring and then just falling out of it. And so it's just kind of out of habit, but really I'm just squeezing with that first finger. But instead of, it takes more energy for me to purposely leave those fingers away versus just let them fall as if I'm just resting with the ukulele in my hand. So that's where you see that movement here, but these fingers are not doing anything. So that would be one way to strum this song, just in a straight ahead jazz, 4 beats, one just straight through in 4/4 time. Basically, the way that I like to play it, it kind of adds a 2-bar rhythm phrase. Let's do a 3rd fret bar just so that we can get some practice on the left hand muting. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4 and. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, down, chunk, up, chunk. And then that last up might be, you might not actually hear the up, it might be because you're coming out of that chunk. Now a chunk, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the chunk. It's basically a rhythmic technique that is not left hand muting rhythm scratch. It is hands free, except for your strumming hand. But I basically am grazing my nails across the board, the fretboard, the strings, very quickly, but immediately muting with my palm of my right hand. And so all you get is a kind of this scratch and muting at the same time. It takes a little bit of practice, and basically I'm doing that on the 2 and 4. So you've got 1 and 2 and 4 and. So 2 and 4 and 1, 2 and 4 and. And then we say that friends don't let friends clap or chunk on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we break up this strumming pattern, we'll go 1, 2, 3 muted to 1 and 2 and 4 and. So just let's look at that second measure where we have that. This is the only measure that has the 2, well, except for the bridge, the 2 quick changes in the A section. So we've got our F minor 6 chord, and we're going to go 1, a 2, chunk, and then so 1, 2, and then on the and, we're going to anticipate that chord change, the 1 and 2 and 4. And so we're not just going 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 4 and. So we've got that anticipated going into that F diminished chord. So we have a 1 chord, 1, 2, the B flat, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, F minor 6, F diminished again, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 4, and 1, pulse, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 4, and pulse, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 4, and. So just really thinking of that 1, and 2, and 4, and 1. And that and, I might oftentimes I like to start moving to the next chord on like the and or the of a rhythm measure. So 1 and 2 and. You'll see my hand has already left the station after that beat 4 chunk. So when I get that I'm not even holding a chord. And so these are little tricks of the trade. So then we'll just start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 beats. Now when we get to the B section, we're going to be anticipating these changes. So we've got dreamy eyes. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 4. So we've got 1, 2, and. So you're still doing the rhythm on 2 and 4. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4. And so basically this is the same rhythm. 1 chunk up chunk up, 1 chunk up 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and creating that backbeat chunk on 2 and 4. So we'll try this again without me interrupting myself. Here we go. So we got 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and then rendezvous, 3, 4, and then again 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and then here I just hold it for the measure. And daylight came too soon. I might give myself a chunk on 4. Daylight came too soon. 3 and 4 and 1, and that little chunk 1, 2, 3. It just kind of helps keep the band together, gives me a little bit of rhythm, lets me know where I'm at rhythmically. So let's go through that bridge one more time. So we've got 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and C sus. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, minor 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 4, and 1. The last time, the tag, we kind of start slowing down at that E flat 6 chord, and then the day, that E flat minor 6, day, and then we go cut straight to that F7, and you of course could play F7 any way you like to. I just come back down here to end on that B flat, and of course you could end back up at a higher B flat. So I hope that helped, and thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Victoria Vox with Ukulele Magazine. Take care.